Hello. Testing, testing.
Oh,
Hey, how's everybody out there
alright.
in social media land? This is Tony,
You put
Cole.
that don't copyright stuff.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did do that.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Alright.
Look, I'm opening up, coming 10 times harder, and I'm feeling myself this year. Catch up, y'all slower than us. Got the team in the building, and we fearing only who we gotta fear. That's God. I love him so much, cause we out here eating, and he bless us with a dollar bill, trying to get up on the road for the buck, so we could put the team on the bus and have the family getting lit with us. And Big I trust, and Pac I trust. All my prayers that be real rap legend, and the gang go up. To all the haters that be hating too much, listen up, we blocking out whoever hate on us, but at least they know us. I'm trying to get some of that angel dust, not the drug, just the stuff up above that weight on us. I'm doing what I gotta do for the pie, got a piece and I'm moving on up.
Gold-minded. That was my son, Lucky. He's building his little, not little, but building his brand called Gold-minded. He loves to write and rap and sing. So, welcome to another session of Mentor Me Monday, because I love mentors and I love to be mentored, and I love just connecting with people with like minds. So my 8 o'clock was not available, but he's going to come on after this. But I have a delightful treat for you tonight. We are going to talk with Mr. Terry Glenn Robinson, and he is an alumni from Lincoln High in the house. If you're a Lincoln High Hornet, San Diego, California, big ups. Shout out to you all. I love you guys. I graduated in 1981. And just put in the comments when you graduated, or if you knew anybody who graduated from Lincoln High. So we are going to get Mr. Terry Glenn on. He is going to talk about health. He's going to talk about the community service that he and a lot of other Lincoln High alumni participate in, or handle, or take commitment to, and serve their community. They just had a health fair, I believe. 81 in the house. What's up, Renee? That was my girl back in the day. But I love you. Thank you so much for being who you are. And thanks, Don Polk, for tuning in. But anyway, Terry just had a health fair. He had a community service fair at Lincoln High this past weekend. And I even saw him on live. I tuned in for a little bit. We're going to get him on and just talk and just bring us all up to date of what he's doing and how we can help the community in San Diego, California. And we're going to try to get him on right now at 9 o'clock. Terry, you there? All right, I'm going to add you. Thank you, Bobby. Hey, Bobby. Love you, Bobby. Mr. Terry Glenn. Sometimes this is little technical difficulty stuff going on, but just accept the invite. I just added you, Mr. Terry Glenn. You can accept the invite.
Okay, I'm trying to get somewhere where you guys can see
Hey,
me.
how you doing?
I am fantastic. Hold on just a second. I'm at a friend's house on the East Lake, and it's dark as hell in here. Hold on a second.
And we got a connection, ladies and gentlemen. We got a connection.
Okay, let me see if I can go out here where there's actual lights. Give me a second.
That sounds good. What's up,
Hey.
Terry Glenn?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you guys? Get my earphones off.
Good.
Okay, I thought I was going to use my Bluetooth, but what's going on? I'm still in San Diego doing what I do.
Good, Terry. I just wanted to say hi to you and to just talk to you a little bit about what you're doing for the community out in San Diego. My Lincoln High classmate, alumni, 1981. So I just saw you guys. I saw you guys this weekend throwing down live on
We went
Facebook.
big. Yeah, we went big. We you know what? we were always powerful, and I think this weekend we proved that we can be even more powerful, especially when we do things as a group for the right cause. We can all do a party. A party is our thing. You know how we roll, right?
Yes.
But what we did was about community and about the hive and about bringing, just as early as Friday, there was a fight up at the school. But that happens in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
unfortunately, Lincoln's reputation is they will focus on that negative, and because it's just Lincoln, not because it doesn't happen at Morris or Crawford or Valhalla or wherever else. It's just because it's the hood. So one of our goals when I was talking to like the administration, people, Sydney Martin, she's high up the ranks, and is that we shine a positive light on Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of our goals. Not our main goal, but it was, let me see if I can get some better light on me, because being this dark, it ain't easy being cheesy. Hold
That's
on.
okay.
One of our main goals was just simply to bring some positive recognition to Lincoln. And then I would say more importantly is to bring, to really start talking about our health. You may not know the story, but I'll give you the story, the background on where we came from with this whole event was Michael and Michelle Allen had a birthday party up in San Juan Capistrano back in like January 31st, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us stayed over.
Michelle, Michael Allen, love you guys.
There you go. And a lot of us stayed overnight in the local hotel. God, I'm trying to get the right light here. In a local hotel because it was just convenient. We didn't have to drive all the way back to San Diego, et cetera, et cetera. So that morning, we just happened to all be in the lobby having breakfast at the same time. Me, Carolyn Wiley, her husband, Renee McFarland, Brenda McFarland, Deborah Evans, who was Leland Maddox's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started having a conversation about some of the things that had transpired in the past with our, good, bad, and ugly, with some of the alumni events and how we bring things to Lincoln and create a positive environment. And we decided, hold on a second, somebody's trying to come out the door. And we decided, hey, let's do something in Lincoln that doesn't cost anybody money.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't start out as health and wellness. But what happened soon thereafter, Daryl Wallace passed away. And then a number of our alumni people started to pass. And they're all in their early 50s. And we're like, whoa, what's happening? This is not normal.
Normal, right.
And to me, it was a concentration of an area where we all grew up in these schools that had a high asbestos and lead paint, et cetera. And then what's interesting is I talked to my mom, who worked at University Hospital for 28 years. And she was saying that a lot of her coworkers and peers have been dying also of cancer.
Mm.
Sorry, pause for a second. And then my mom died in April of that year.
Your mom?
So my mom passed away. Your call. And so it was just a consistent stream of people that we were going to funerals for. And we started looking at why.
Mm-hmm.
And diabetes. Some of our older generation, they don't have a focus on better health like they should. They'll take all the pills, but they're still throwing down on what they grew up on. You know what I mean? You can cook that pork as long as you want to. It's still pork. All right. It can be the most tender pork in the world, but it's still pork. And I ain't gonna lie, because hey, throw my hand up. Okay, I ain't trying to be a hypocrite.
Me too.
In some cases, less is better. You can't be all in when you've got diabetes. In my mom's case is a perfect example of what happens with diabetes that people don't get. When your organs start to deteriorate over time. And with her, she was at Scripps. And they had her plugged into one machine. Then they had her plugged into two machines. And they had her plugged into three machines. It was after she had triple bypass, by the way. And then they said, okay, we need to move her to another location within the hospital so that we can plug her in, because everybody is blowing me up right now. We can move her into another part of the facility that has a certain machine we need to hook up. Well, as they started unplugging machines, her organs started failing completely.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what they could unplug, because once they unplugged it, that organ was done. It wasn't like it was, when they did it once, one organ didn't come back. So there was a nervousness that they had. And like, I'll be keeping it real. My mom did it to herself because she knew, my mother worked in a hospital for 27 years. She knew what right looked like. But you have to have, I don't think, and I had a grandmother who my mother was really close to since she was probably 10 years old. My dad's mom, who lost both of her legs from the knees down over diabetes. So there wasn't like there wasn't a history that she could relate to. It wasn't on her side of the family, but it wasn't like she didn't have an example of what could go wrong. It's just that old school thinking. It's like,
Yeah.
I got these pills and that's good enough.
Yeah, my mom was diabetic too, Terry, and congestive heart failure. She had all those issues too.
Exactly, and that's, and then so we started. The first event was Hornets and Friends, and let me explain Hornets and Friends. This should be very simple to most people, but people don't get it. Hornets and Friends is about us and everybody around us. We are the facilitators, but it's not just about if you went to Lincoln or not. This is about whether you're our friend. If we know you hear the message, you're our friend. We want you to come in and take advantage of what we're trying to create, which is a positive movement towards wellness. There's too much technology out there for us not all to be doing better. But there's one critical factor in all that, the will. You got to have the will and you got to make the effort. If you're not making both, if you don't have both with you, you know, you can't be like, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's just the thought. You got to go past the thought and jump into the action. And unfortunately, in the Black community, we're very private. We keep things to ourselves. You know, we find out about people dying when they're on their deathbed. Part of it is we can't even pray for you if we don't know something's wrong with you. You know, keeping it to yourself is just a matter of you not even acknowledging the fact that prayer heals.
Yes.
And if you don't even touch that, if you don't give us a chance to even say, hey, what you got to be praying about when you're dying? I mean, what you hiding? I mean, you got shame at that moment. Your shame should go bye-bye, and you need to reach out, like, pray for me now. And so we learned a lot of lessons along the way. We had the event in 2015. We did glucose. We had games for kids, blah, 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 and it was successful. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to hold this phone the right way. Hello, Mr. Phone. Okay. Without breaking it, because I just got it and I still owe $800 on it. But the point is, so we started that movement, and we essentially just wanted to keep building on it, build on it. We took a little time off because we did some other things within the community. But I want to give shout out to Carolyn Wiley, because she's a straight up rock star when it comes to event planning and being very technical to some degree of how we get things done. In this particular event, she was able to get an assemblywoman, Shirley Weber. We also, I'm going to jump forward to this event because it was awesome. We had what's called a circle of prayer. It got moved from the circle, but we still accomplished the same things. That was just a logistical thing. But we had Edgar Sharp.
Yeah, I saw Edgar.
Did the opening prayer. He put it down the opening prayer. See, we couldn't say we were going to have a prayer because that's against the rules. So we just slid a prayer in there with Reverend Sharp. All right, not that Sharp, not Sharp. Yeah, okay. Then Jackie Owens, whose son is 10 years old. Have you had a chance to view the I Have a Dream speech that he did?
No.
Oh my God! Anybody listening?
Like used to do back in the day.
He blew James up. Okay, this is a 10-year-old who didn't read from a script. It was by memory. He had voice inflection. He had. You have to find the video. I will send it to you. Okay. So check this out. He went, the way we planned it was he was go right behind of the Assemblywoman, because if you think about it, it's Black History Month also. Yeah. So you think about the speech and how one day Black children and Black girls and white girls and blah, blah, blah will all be. This is a Black woman who's an Assembly member. So it just made sense to put him before her. She turned around and said, listen, I need to invite this young man to the Democratic convention and have him do this speech.
See there?
You have to find the video. I'm going to keep it real with everybody watching. I cried through it.
Oh my God. Yes, I know it has to be on here.
It was so powerful in his voice inflection, and he went all MLK. I have a dream that oh, you have to see it. Anybody, go to my page, look for something about me talking about a 10-year-old. I'll repost it. And you will. Joe Levy, I see you out there. Hey, Cindy, up in Portland.
Hey, Joe.
You know,
Love you.
and there's my girlfriend's sister on there, Cindy. She's watching, or was watching, or still is. But so the event this year
Katrina
included 25 vendors. This is a historical event for alumni. We had 25 vendors. We had Latino and Hispanic outreach, voters outreach was there. We had, which is not health related, but it's a tie into the community because Lincoln is now 72% Hispanic. We had Kaiser, Susan G. Coleman, San Diego Blood Bank. We had Dr. Afalo, who is one of the most revered doctors in, I would say for lack of a better way to put it, in the hood. She does a radio show I was on last week. Everybody loves her. She went over some things about, you know, these prepackaged foods and the sodium content, and they did a Q&A kind of question thing when they're up on the stage. And then we had a lot of powerful people speaking. A young lady, Deborah Thomas. You know her as Deborah Thomas, but she's Deborah Thomas Hampton now. I see Renee. Renee, I see you.
Hey. Yeah.
She came up and she gave a speech, and then we had a young lady there that has triple negative breast cancer. She talked about all the things she's going through right now: black nails, ashy colored skin that's like a pasty, like almost a Walking Dead color. Just all that. It was powerful. I mean, we had some people that were powerful because we take it for granted if it's not us.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to relay is the fact that one day it might be you.
Yeah.
Give some blood.
Exactly.
You might need it one day. Get your, you know, all these cats out here that are got their manlyhood up in the way of getting a prostate check. I've had two. Okay, I've had two. They put you to sleep.
Yes.
Listen, they put you to sleep. It was all women in the room, and I did not care because I was asleep.
Right.
When I'm asleep, do what you got to do. Okay, I'd rather.
That's
My
right,
pride is not gonna keep me from living.
Yes.
Okay, that's my health first. Renee was awesome this weekend. I see her out there. Hey, what's up, Glenn? You gotta let it go. Handle your health. So we had a cat that does fitness.
Yes.
If you saw, did you see the video of everybody dancing? And that was actually a fitness. He had him punching and kicking. And we had a brother named Sigmund Valentine, My Fat Belly. He's also a comedian part-time. Wow. We had the Assemblywoman speak, which was awesome because you need that pull. Now, it's not about their candidacy or their next term. It's like we need those people present because it validates our event. Yes, so we had, did you see the picture of all the alumni that got involved? Have you seen that picture?
I have to, I have to go back and look and see.
Girl, I'm gonna send you all kind of stuff. You missed a lot of stuff, okay? But it was powerful. We had multiple people doing, Facebook Live. I unfortunately have my phone in my back pocket, and it was doing Facebook Live for like 2 hours. And somebody walked up to me and said, "Hey man, you doing Facebook Live?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Where is your phone?" I'm like, "In my back pocket." No, I said no, but I thought I had stopped the video, and ain't no telling what people probably heard along the way because I was kind of chairman in the event. But all in all, what we learned is that we can bring the alumni back with something positive. There has to be a degree of trust. There has to be a message behind it, and we are all affected by cancer and diabetes. Now, we didn't stop there. That's the name of the event, and we may change the name, but the cancer and diabetes is the draw part. So what we had mental health. We have a Dr. Rennell, who is a graduate of Lincoln.
Wow.
She is the head doctor over at the Mental Health America San Diego. We had Dr. Ronald Shockley, who attended a Lincoln High School program in the 80s that was a medical program. He's now an infectious disease doctor in Las Vegas. Okay. Wow. So we had a number. We had Dee Sanders and Gloria from Greenwood, which are Lincoln High alumni. They had the Greenwood book. And what we wanted to impress on people is that health is just not about living. It's about what happens afterwards and what you leave behind for people to deal with. So you can give somebody a heart attack by not having your act together because they spend a bunch of time trying to figure out your estate. So Erica Fernandez, she runs a group from World Financial Group they had financial planning there. Okay. So
Yeah.
you can sit down, have your living
Right.
will, all these things that we take for granted or we assume or don't want to know if somebody has. I buried 2 parents. Trust me, know where their paperwork is, know what their wishes are. Your life will be 10 times easier. It'll be easier with your siblings. Your siblings,
Right.
let me say it again. Your siblings will be probably your biggest challenge. Everybody has a
Yes, I
different
know.
idea how things would go.
There's always one
And if you don't
strong
sit
one in
around
the
the
bunch
room
that
with your
takes
mama and daddy,
everything.
exactly. So with that being said, we stressed, we had all the right people in the right place. We had food for the kids. We had games for the kids. We had trophies for the kids for football, golf,
You had
and
lunch. You had
basketball.
the lunch, free lunches. Yeah.
We had free lunches. And the cool part is let me rephrase this. What we want to improve is alumni getting involved earlier in the game. A lot of people came on at the end, which is great. Don't get me wrong. That's great. But it takes a big degree of planning to bring in 25 vendors and rent equipment and get speakers in alignment and all the things we have to do. We want to create a register for not a club or anything, but just a registry for alumni that we're going to push out and have alumni register and tell us what you'd like to get involved in. That way, when we have our next event, we have more alumni involved in a direct, because you know one thing I always hear is what's happening out there. Nobody ever tells me about what homecoming is or this or that. Because not everybody uses Facebook, and that's our main communication tool. So pretty soon you're going to see a registry for Lincoln High School where you just go in, register. We're going to set it up so that you can ask for specific questions, what you want to be involved in. If you have health issues, you'll be able to tell us, and we'll be able to give you a link to, some of the vendors that we work with. We had flu shots. We have a group with Champions of Health. So we have these resources you can reach out to, and they will direct you to who you need to talk to. We got support from 211. 211 is a group that actually helps seniors. You call 211, and whatever service you need as a senior, they can forward you the information. So there's resources out there. As much as they say the hood is like this underserved community, we have to use the facilities that are available. We have to make the effort to reach out.
I'm telling you.
But people, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And we're trying to find a central location where people can be trusting. Hey, Michelle, that's one of my other partners over there. Michelle, can I give a shout out to Michelle Allen?
I saw you guys.
Michelle is always there for me. Michelle is always.
Have other events too. I know.
Yeah, whenever I say
I see her all
we
the
need
time.
something, Michelle is like, when and where?
Involved.
Okay. Did you see our packing party on Friday night? Where we packed the lunches?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
We had to
the
tune in and I saw you guys. I think your live ended, so I saw you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So how?
We had everybody came over to
You said you're going to start.
We're going to create a link that we're going to post on to Hornet House, which is a page that I manage. And then we actually have a group called Hornet Alumni Association. And I tried to find as many people. There's like 4,000 people on that page. And I went through one by one. And if they say they went to Lincoln, I pulled them into that group. And I'll post the link and people will just be able to come and just give us the information. We'll give you an opportunity to give us as much information as you want. And what you don't want to fill in, I won't make it mandatory. But we want to help. Not only do we want your support, if you are going through something, if you need prayer, if you need a good doctor for something that you don't trust, there's a lot of distrust in the Black community. You don't trust, maybe somebody else has been through it, then we can move you in we can help. So we want it to be a resource, not just for our own, nefarious purposes of getting volunteers, but so we can start supporting each other and we start understanding what's going on. It's hard when you hear about somebody just died, especially if they had a long stint in the hospital, and so we want to do more because this is like for the alumni, for this particular group of volunteers, this is the third event that we had one in 2015, we had one in 2016, and we're having this one. This is the same group of folks. Michelle and Michael was involved in the previous two back, and we had, You know, Carolyn and Vern Lubbock just got involved this time, and he is a rock star. That brother's a great rock star. So we're trying to build on this because the one and most important issue is trust. We have to have people that will say, if I use my time to help you guys out, it better be well spent. Don't come to me with no shenanigans. You need, I try to lead by example and say, I'm only going to need you usually for what I need to. I'm not going to abuse your time. We're going to be on time. There's going to be a schedule. There's going to be a set of ground rules. There's going to be written instructions. Then the rest of it is upon you to do your part. I can only do so much as chairman, but you'll never be asking what I need to do unless you decided not to read the information you were given. And that keeps, that's accountability. Everybody's got skin in the game at that point. But our resources here, Tony, I can tell you, there's not much we can't accomplish at this point. And I'm pretty proud to say that. We have made relationships with people from the school district, from the medical field, things we never had and never, that we didn't have access to. And part of it is because a lot of people go up to Lincoln thinking that I'm a Hornet for life and I should be able to do for you what I want to do for you. But there's ground rules, there's needs that you have to go up there with, take your pride out of it and actually walk in there and talk to the people that are in need and what they actually need and collaborate. There has to be a collaboration. It can't be, I'm a Hornet. You'd be surprised how often that happens up there. I met with Principal Soto. I met with the principal on Friday, and we had a good conversation about that. About the one thing he appreciated about our group was communication. We kept him in the loop. They didn't really do a lot of any heavy lifting. They bought a lot of volunteers. What we want to do is continue that relationship because it's giving back to the school. It's giving back to the students, and it's leading by example. We had two very, very timid young ladies that had to speak that day. One was the ASB president. These kids aren't us. These kids don't have the fortitude that we had, okay? The ASB president, and then there was a young lady who was a treasurer who just found out she has type 1 diabetes. So I put her together with Dr. Apollo, who is a family practice doctor. They got together, spoke a little bit. I had to walk that young lady to the back of the stage and say, listen, you'll be okay. These are a bunch of people you know. Just go up there and do your thing. She blew it up.
Did she?
I mean,
See?
it was like, I thought she wasn't going to stop talking for a minute. I was like, okay, you went from 0 to 100 like that.
Right.
And it was awesome. It was just, we had prizes. We had 50 giveaways. Padres, Sizzler, all these different places. We had 50 giveaways, and we fed all of the vendors and all the volunteers from donation. We hid the vendor food because we didn't want everybody trying to eat it, but we had it around this wall, and there's, like I said, told all the vendors, come get some. We got this chicken from Albertsons and Lemon Grove. People were like, where did y'all get this chicken from? It was baked. Somebody whose name I will not say, like, we're going to get some fried chicken for our lunch. I was like, girl, this is a health and diabetes event. Fried chicken is not on the menu.
Baked chicken,
Baked chicken. You'll be okay. Get some Popeyes on the way home. But Tony, my love here is from, my entire life spent my entire life in Southeast. When I moved in with my dad, when I was in the 6th grade is when I started going to Kennedy. Then I went to Gompers, then I went to Lincoln. My sister died around the corner from where I live. I wore green and white in Pop Warner. My dad was the person who was taking everybody home after practice and coached them and umpired them and so on and so forth. And you are what you eat. When you live around parents, my mother was at Mount Airy Church around the corner, that used to be next to Kennedy, for 38 years. And anybody knows my mom who's on there, she put in work in that church. So it's what, you are what you eat. If you're around people who give and give and give, we grew up in that age where we live by example, and kids still do now, don't get me wrong, but I saw it most of my life, and most people don't even know I don't live here. I mean, I live in Portland, Oregon.
I know. Yeah, that's why I was wondering too if you lived in San Diego or not. Yeah.
A computer and a cell phone and you can do amazing things. It's all about the will. It's not about, listen, I got a 619 number. None of those vendors knew I was calling from like I told them. But it was the cause. They were more interested in the cause and what they consider an underserved community.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning a lot of it though is an underattended. I'll go back to that again. People have to, like, if you see the Susan G. Komen bus on the corner once a month and you haven't had a mammogram, they're doing them for free. You may want to jump in and get involved. And some of the people who are giving these services have a bit of frustration with that also. And it's a free service. I mean, we had flu shots. We got on the phone with the district. I emailed them on a Friday because I wasn't getting a reaction from people. On Saturday morning, we had the top people in San Diego School District on an email string finding us flu shots. You know why? Because it was for Lincoln High School, and Lincoln High School was doing something positive, and they couldn't ignore us. Also, this is what I also did. I sent them all an email and said, I contacted 140 media emails, and I emailed the mayor of San Diego, the mayor of National City, and all the council members for both cities. So needless to say, we're going to be noticed. And we also got on the news. We got on KUSI. Have you seen that article?
Wow. Yeah. I saw Carolyn and them on the radio. Was that KUSI or that was a different? That was
a different one. KUSI showed up at the event. So we were on the news that evening. I'll send you the clip.
Okay.
So to understand the magnitude, it's just like this.
Up to Lisa.
Lisa
said she didn't know you were here in town. Lisa Pearson.
Hey, Lisa.
That's my cousin. You know.
People don't know I'm in town because they think I live here. Oh, okay. People don't know that I'm in town because they think I live here because I'm here so much. It's just in our next event, we got some things planned on our next event, but really going back to the health issue is like, I live by example. You've seen me work out. I'm never going to be thin, but I call myself fluffy, but fit. Okay. I get in the gym.
Right.
You're healthy, I don't always eat right, but I balance it with some good eating and with exercise. And one thing I got to do better is water. Water. I'm really bad with water. I got to get better at it somehow. And during all this setup, this last 3 months, I was studying for my life and health and my property and casualty license for insurance. So this was the most challenging 3 months of my life. I just passed my life and health exam for insurance on Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, let me tell you something. I ain't been to school since the 80s. That was no joke. Okay. And
I know, having to focus.
If you want to have it happen in your life, I just can only tell you, pray on it. Not everything went right on Saturday. And Vern said, Terry, pray on it. And I prayed on it. And 20 minutes later today, some things that needed to be corrected started being corrected.
Yeah. And it's a baby. A baby doesn't come out and just start walking, so you have to give that baby time to develop. And a seed is nothing of what it's going to become. An apple seed, it doesn't look like an apple tree. So give yourself time to see it come into fruition. I would have never known everything didn't go right. So.
It's not that it didn't go right. It went differently than when we planned. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There was
but that's okay because we learn. It's a learning lesson. It's like, what do we want to do different? How can we incorporate more of this, less of that? It's just a lot of little things, but because I'm the chairman and I've got people looking at the details, we saw, well, we wanted that to be different than that, but it was seamless to other people. That's our job to actually kind of go back and review and go, okay, what can we had a meeting here last night at my friend's house. Cindy Barrows came over, Lou Barnes came over, my hand's in the way again. Lou came over, Mary Bridges came over, Kim Waters came over, and we sat down and we discussed. Kim and Mary were actually just people in the crowd. They weren't volunteers. But we wanted their feedback. Like, what did we miss? What could we have done better? And they gave us their feedback because this is not our last rodeo. This is the second one, and it's going to be a yearly thing, like or speaking of your rodeo, most rodeos are yearly. So this is just the beginning of something positive. And we got to keep, the goal is to keep everybody conscious. Consciousness, and we use it for a lot, consciousness for a lot of different terms. But our goal by doing this yearly, if not biannually, in some way, shape, or form, is consciousness. Anything that you can see, smell, or touch, you're going to pay attention to. If you need to read that book and you put it in the drawer, you ain't reading that book. And you ain't trying to read that book. This is a book that needs to be out on your nightstand and in the way of you getting to your glasses. And that's our goal, is to stay in front with this information and provide resources, create a website eventually, because we're not trying to go too fast, but create a website with links to go to different directions. But we had to gain the trust of the alumni. A lot of people were standing in the cut and waiting to see how we were going to do. Were we going to fall on our face? Was it going to be what we expected? So on and so forth. Well, here we are. That's all I can tell you.
I'm telling you. That's wonderful.
We came, and everybody says this, but our group was different. We just have a spirit that we love Lincoln, even if it's changed. Some of us still get it. It will never be what it was, but we can make it what it should be. Do our part to make it what it should be. We can't control everything, but we can bring resources to the school that truly exist. And the cool thing is, it's like a double-edged sword. We don't have the resources, but when somebody from Lincoln reaches out and says, I need something, all of a sudden people start, what, Lincoln's doing something positive? What? It's not just athletics? What? Let me see what these people are talking about.
I know. It's a staple. It's a staple in our community, Lincoln High. Yes.
And a lot of people think they can't do anything because they don't live here. Hello.
Yeah.
I live 100 miles.
That's why I'm talking to you. Yeah, I do want to be more involved. You guys are awesome.
We want to think of a way, and we'll use you as an example of what we can do to be more involved, whether it be doing your show and then having folks like myself come on, or, we don't have a fund where we will collect money. When we collect money, I want to be clear to anybody watching this, it's for a specific reason. It is, okay, we want to pay for something. We're not fundraisers. We ain't going to be fundraisers because that's a problem. We are just looking to support an event when we when we reach out and say, hey, we need a donation for trophies. My attitude is you can write a check, or you can call the trophy shop and give them your credit card directly. Or you can call us.
Ask for sponsors, get that hustle going. You said there's sponsorship too. So,
well, one of the things we want to do,
hustle and getting people to sponsor, the event.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do is we want to create an alumni and business event at Lincoln, where we bring back alumni that have business, whether it be tax, whether it be hairdressers, whether it be food, whatever it is, and put it in conjunction with another event.
Carl.
Hey, what up? Carl was there too. And we want to make an event that is about the alumni. I think he was there for a minute. Yeah. We want an event that's about the alumni. So we want to bring back, like, Dee Dee and Ella have a business. If we have an event, have them sponsor the food. Or somebody hit me up. Renee Murray's sister, Brenda, sells jewelry. And that's not an appropriate vendor for a health and wellness fair, but it is if we have an alumni day where they can all come back and represent their product. And we start sharing those services amongst each other, and we start putting them on a website so we can actually support each other in our private businesses. So there's a lot we can do. And then that will build the clientele, or that'll build the group up in strength, so that when we want to have our next cancer and diabetes awareness event.
Yes.
For sponsorship is number one. The alumni, all we want the alumni to do is help with food or donate a pack of water or whatever it is. Because we had a lot of volunteers. We have more volunteers than we need. Believe it or not, we had more volunteers than we could use. So there's a much bigger picture in this. And I'm sorry I dominated your show and didn't give you enough speaking time there in your own show. But we need to keep this ball rolling. It's not done. It's a constant. What's next? What do we got? Because we have to keep the momentum.
That's right.
So
come on, alumni out there. I know y'all watching. the new generations and the old generations, all of y'all who's still breathing, huh, Terry?
Hey,
Get
there are a
up.
lot of resources out
Get up
there,
and
and the
get
people just
moving,
have to.
right?
Yep. Pride. Don't let your pride get in the way. Don't let things that happen in the past. The past is the past. You know, you came, you saw the
Right.
game plan, you saw the execution. You know, this is at some point we have to get it right. And we've used some of the bad experiences to create a better experience. And the elephant in the room is that there have been some mistakes made.
Right.
And acknowledge it and move on and do better. You know, the key to saying I'm
Right.
sorry is to do better. Simple as that.
Exactly. And like you said, to bring awareness of friendship, like you said, the Hornets and Friends, you know, where we're not combative with other neighborhoods and the Bloods and the Crips and Lincoln and Morris. And, you know, we've always had that in San Diego where everybody was against one another, you know, so.
Well, we've had
really
that within our own ranks as part of the problem because everybody has a different agenda and sometimes the resources are spread out. But just like this event, there are a lot of these vendors that do events together that were there, like Susan G and the San Ysidro Clinic HIV van. They usually do these little one-offs, like maybe, 10 vendors at a time. But once a year at a minimum, we all need to come together because they're usually about the Southeast community and be in one place at one time and represent. And it's amazing. Some of the people I've heard from within those entities have made contacts with other vendors they never worked with. And now they have more vendors and more resources to work with than they ever did. I know I have a ridiculous amount of resources that I didn't have 3 weeks ago. Just 3 weeks ago. I mean, my resources quadrupled. Okay.
Right.
My contacts just went crazy once I started creating these relationships with principals and with school superintendents and things of that nature. They got the money. You got to deal with the people who will push it down to someone else and say, this is in our best interest as a district.
Yes.
Reach out to this gentleman and see how you can help.
Right.
And that's what took place.
Wow, that's great. Wow, Terry. So how can people get in touch with you? Is it best like through social media? Is it good to contact you through Messenger or
they can message me?
You have that page. So
yeah, mine is open. Now Jackie Owens just came on, and her grandson is the one who did the I Have a Dream, and I'm so proud of him and proud of his golf. He also is a junior golfer too, so they help sponsor our putting green for the kids, which is one of those things that in the Black community, golf is not. People think it's a really expensive sport. It's a time-consuming sport for the adult. But and Jackie can probably expound on that, but it's one of those things that is left out because it's not one of our normal natural sports. But Tiger Woods made the point. Focus, and we can be what you want to be. So his pops was a little bit on him too, but that's a whole nother conversation. But the point is that it was something we bought new to the kids. And I think they really enjoyed it. We rented a little putting green so the kids, and they had a real life golf instructor showing them how to putt.
My brother too, my younger brother, Chris, he got involved in golf too at a young age, through school. So I have to tell Chris to contact you or, see if he could help out, with some other events for you and stuff. So.
We're going to do some other things, and we need a collaboration for ideas because, when it comes to Lincoln, it has to be multicultural. It needs to be, one of the bigger, if we could do it again, which we will, not if, when we do, we will have something that some Latino speakers. Because we really went to what we knew. And we want to do more. We have to work better with the administration and the Mr. Ochoa, who is head of the kids, the Latino groups up at the school. So we have some work to do, but you got to start somewhere. And what we did, I think everybody, if you read the comments about it, because of who we are and where we are, it was very impactful because it just doesn't happen with the alumni. The Lincoln High School alumni, love you all, but y'all need to get off your behinds and support the Hive.
That's right.
Period.
Terry.
I am not
You're
the
right.
hardest person to find, and you can go to Hornet House. I manage that website, and you can message it and say, I would like to volunteer. What do you need? Make an
Okay,
effort.
hon.
We need to get more celebrity, more of our celebrity alumni. How many celebrity alumni? We got a lot, but they tend to keep it. They tend to be with them. It's more about working with people they trust because their name. They tie their name to something. They want to make sure that their brand is protected. So we're working on gaining that type of trust, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and
It is.
luckily enough, we have really smart people involved in this group. We have a lot of smart people that are not involved right now.
Yeah, that need to be, yes.
That could be involved, but they're waiting to see if we mess this up. Let's keep it real. We're not going to.
Just kicking back, not really understanding that change is effective and, leadership is effective. So we're, like you said, Terry, there's a lot of leaders who don't really feel they're leaders, because someone probably didn't tell them they had leadership skills,
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that just say, Terry, what do you tell me what you need? I'll be there.
Yeah, what do
They
you
want a
need?
leadership role. And some of those people, they are fantastic. They do everything. They just, not everybody is okay with being in the spotlight,
Right,
And that's okay. We need Indians as much as we need Chiefs. We need more Indians than we need Chiefs, trust me.
right.
But we organized this event down to everybody had a job description. They knew where they were supposed to be, when they were supposed to be there. Dwight Harvey got us all shirts. Dwight hooked us up. Those home shirts were out of Dwight's pocket. He didn't want a dime back. I said, Dwight, we only need X number of them. I said, sell the rest and get your money back. He's like, I don't care. He's like, give them out.
Right. Wow.
The will is there. It's just the trust has to continue to grow.
Right.
That's our biggest issue as alumni is the trust. Once we jump that hurdle, people will come on board a little bit more and a little bit more. We're going to do some things like I told you on the back end, create a registry for Hornet alumni where all they do is go register. They can mark off what they want to get involved in, whether it be homecoming, because this year we're going to do the 8s. So every year moving forward, we're going to celebrate the year. So this year it will be 58, 68, 78, 88, 98, 08,
2008, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Some of those groups already have things planned. I think class of 68 has already posted their event. We don't even know what homecoming is. So they've already started planning. So we want to bring those folks up. This past year, we had them all walk around the track with their year. It was before the game.
Wow.
And the more consistent we are, the more leverage we have up at Lincoln High School of trust.
Yeah.
It's not leverage as in we can make them do anything. It's in the sense that they trust that we're going to do things right. So last year was the first year. And each year we're going to improve on, because this coming year is like Marcus Allen's year. He graduated in 78. So that whole class is going to do, they're starting to schedule their event. And then the 68 are very proud. The 68 is a proud group of people, let me tell you. We want to take that opportunity to grow the alumni into one big group. It is not about them, people do their own thing. That's cool. But we want to be able to support it and say, hey, class of 77 or 78 is doing this. Class of 81 is doing this. And have it in one look. That's what Hornet House was created for, to take all that information. Now, on that site, there's Tigers, there's Morris Tigers, there's people from Crawford, people from Patch Cannery, Point Loma. That's perfect, because guess what? We all married each other. Okay, so tell your husband, your cousin, whoever it was.
Those are our friends, right? Those are our friends that were.
That's where Hornets and Friends come from. So this is a community thing. This is just not about, you know how we were back in the day. It was green and white. Oh, it was blue and gold. Yep. You know what I'm saying? We're grown now. We're grown. We're grown. We're going to each other's funerals. We're going to continue to go to each other's funerals. But it needs to be because we died of old age, not because we didn't go get our prostate checked or things of that nature. I mean, come on, y'all. You know, it's simple stuff that we can do to not be in the obituary section before, the age that we're supposed to be in. Some things are hereditary we can't do anything for, but we can also support the people around you when they're going through it with you. So it's not just the dying. You know what they say, when people die, you got to take care of the living. The living is who you really have to take care of, because somebody dead, they're dead, right?
Right.
So we want to create an environment where you can have a lot of, hey, Leonard, where you have a lot of resources and you don't feel shut out, or you don't feel like, well, those people don't ever communicate. You don't know how often I hear that. And people say, well, I didn't even know about the event. Therein lies the toughest part, because you know how I blow up Facebook.
Yeah.
And I blow up about 20 different pages. And you go the older classes, they don't use Facebook. There's people in the 60s classes, they don't really use Facebook. So you have
there's some old schoolers, Terry, that they don't even want to deal with, Facebook.
They ain't got time for Facebook.
Media.
So what I'm trying to do is create relationships with their leaders. When you see something like an event come out, find the leader. They usually have everybody's email, and then we put that into one database, because there's no database for alumni for Lincoln. There's no database. That's something that we've kind of failed at. And so all these little ideas that we're coming to, we some of us, we know how to use the technology. We need venues like yours to reach out and say, hey, come, we know you want to know. We're going to give you that opportunity. And most importantly, when it comes to gathering information, we need sharing. People will like something and do nothing with it. Share it. Be a true hornet and share it. Don't just be somebody who likes to like stuff, and share it.
Right. Yeah. Use it as a platform, or social media is not just entertainment anymore. People are building their brands. They're doing business. Conducting business, connecting with like-minded individuals. So
the cool part is we did this without it being none of us had a title. Probably me and Carolyn had chair and co-chair. There's no secretary. There's no treasurer. Unfortunately, there's a good and a bad side to that, because the roles aren't clearly defined. So some people end up doing a lot of heavy lifting. That was another challenge we had when we wanted to start a new alumni group, is that people didn't want to just volunteer their time. People were too busy. At some point if we want to be successful, at some point that has to change. I just put that message out there. The setup probably has to change. It's not just gigantic, inclusion. We're not going to get in your life to the point where it's going to be so intrusive that you don't have time for what you normally do. It does require a degree of participation. My dad knows guys where, like, my dad used to come home from work and not come home till 11 o'clock from going to meetings and driving kids home. Yeah. And you got people who won't spend an hour every 2 weeks on a call. And it's kind of like, come on, you guys. You are not that busy. You know what? You can record whatever show you think you need to be home by off the phone by 7 o'clock for. Okay, so bottom line is we're going to continue this march, and we're going to continue this conversation about our health.
Yes, sir.
The mental health aspect is huge. We've got people running around Southeast San Diego that we call our crazy uncles or schoolmates or whatever, and they just have never gone and gotten out of pride or whatever it is, gotten a mental health check, or taking advantage of some of the medications that are out there, or just have a conversation with somebody to get it started. That's another thing that needs to happen. And there's our brother James, Mr. I Have a Dream. James Cannon just popped on.
James Cannon.
Exactly. Bad boy in the house. But we have to continue this conversation. And one of the bigger ones, like I was saying before, that's not being addressed nearly as much, is the mental health.
Yeah, mental health. Yeah. So some people do. Yeah, it's not keeping it. It's like this. It's this sense of pride that people have, and it's a false sense of pride because they're keeping things to themselves they don't understand, and their fear that someone will judge them for whatever condition they might have. And it's like, and I don't know everything about it, so I'm not trying to be an expert, but I know there are a few people out there with that mentality. But Dr. Rennell, who was a graduate of Lincoln High School, they said her lecture was the best, because we had 4 lectures. We had a lecture on, we had 3 lectures. We had a lecture on mental health. We had a lecture on, Greenwood was there.
And then we had a lecture on your finances on World Financial Group, which was talking about estate planning.
Yeah,
and
estate planning. Yeah.
As an insurance agent, I can tell people a life policy is money in the bank. People need to really start looking into their life policies and really start thinking about when you retire, whether it be a 20 term where you can use that money to actually get a paycheck once a month out of it supplements your retirement fee. You don't end up living in poverty. All these things that we think we can't afford, well, you really can't afford them when you retire. Because when you retire, you're not working, so you don't have that income. You don't want to take the income that's supporting you and reinvest it. You're trying to live off of it. So you got to get ahead of the game. And our group in particular, one of the reasons I went into insurance was to build my own, I'm going to own an agency, and I can sell that agency back to farmers at some point, and I can take that as my retirement, because I've exhausted a bunch of my 501ks. I've spent a lot of them. So, but the whole life policies, things of that nature, that's what the financial planning part of it is for. You know, so your funeral arrangements are already in place, and Greenwood helps with that also. So we tried to cover everything health related, and then they could help you, because being afraid of what's going to happen to you when you die has got to be a horrible thing.
Yeah.
That's a mental health, that creates mental health issues. Okay.
Yes.
And somebody said, need cushion between living business and exactly.
Thank you, Trenton. That's one of my mentors who's going to come on as well. He's social media investors, where he teaches more on social media and how to build your brand through social media and stuff. And
see, that's what we need to build our brand.
He's a dynamic individual. Request him.
Well, we need to friend each other, but friend me. But Terry Glenn Robinson, easy to find. But we need to look at the health part as it's a multifaceted piece. It's not just health. It's not just wellness. A lot of things tie into that. How you get there is there's a lot to it. And that's kind of where we want to probably focus most of our attention on as a group, as alumni.
Yes.
But we also want to do some fun stuff. So one of the things we're talking about right now is my idea, and not everybody has bought in yet, okay? Let's be real. Is a domino tournament at the school. I believe it will bring back the alumni. We can create a competition between alumni from Morris, or from SB High or Crawford, but we also would have a Latino aspect to it. We might have a tamale contest, okay, for vendors for food, and have that judged during the event. We might have the alumni, we would have the alumni come back and bring their businesses in and represent. So you keep it all inclusive. You're able to feed people, but you're also able to have the alumni come in and part of what we want to do is have the alumni, one session where the alumni talk to the students about their future. Because the idea that everybody has to go to college to get ahead in life and so on and so forth. You got a lot of entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, people are.
Get right now, so people look at you and say, that's a kid that I want to push a certain direction, because I see a skill set in that kid that his chef might be in his future. Taxes or insurance or all these things that we have accomplished that we're not sharing because there is no venue for us to share. So that's our alumni's next, probably something that's all inclusive, where we can have fun. We can have good food. But we also support the kids and show them an example of this is what you can do as an entrepreneur.
That's right. That's wonderful.
So we got a lot. We got a lot of plans. But every year we're going to have that event, that cancer and diabetes awareness event, whatever we call it. I don't want to call it a health fair, even though it is. I think because of the community that we're in, we still need to drive that attention to cancer and diabetes, because diabetes is doing us in.
Yeah. Health awareness, something where it doesn't sound like, a health fair. But
the vendors feed off of a lot of the vendors, and I noticed this when I was out pounding the pavement a few years ago trying to get sponsorship. The minute you say cancer or diabetes, you have someone's attention, because every single one of us is directly or indirectly affected by it. And
Yeah.
I don't really use it as a marketing tool per se, but the point being is that you will always find people who have it's affecting their lives in a negative way. And
Right.
I'll give you a perfect example of this. And I know we might be running out of time, but I was calling around for flowers for our, we had a booth that was a memorial booth. It's beautiful. Carolyn did some amazing things with some pictures, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I called this flower shop that's up on Market Street. And the owner came on the line. He goes, well, you know, February 10th is too close to Valentine's Day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, no problem. He goes, who told you to call me? And I said, no one. He goes, I said, why? He said, because my dad has brain cancer.
Mm.
So he
Wow.
thought someone said call him because I mean, that's how powerful and how bad it is. You can reach
Yeah.
out and touch the person next to you, and that person's going to know someone who has cancer. So that
Yes.
is kind of why, in my opinion, we keep cancer and diabetes in the title of the event, because it
Somebody
affects
is.
every single one of us. And I hate to call it a draw, but the draw is for the right reasons. We're not trying to put a show on. We're trying to educate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it gets attention because everyone is, you know, dealing with that type of disease. You know, some type of disease dealing with cancer.
Exactly.
Big
Did you have
ups.
any questions? Tony, I talked a lot. Did you have any direct questions, or did I answer all the questions you might have had in your mind?
Yeah, I think my script is
Toe up. Listen,
Big
if you know me all my, you know me all my life, I ain't never had a problem with some words. All right. Yeah.
and that is wonderful because I did not have to pull nothing out of you. It's like you just took it and ran with it and talked and introduced and told us exactly what you know you're doing and what you're looking for and what you're trying to get accomplished to the alumni. So wow, that's a wonderful journey you're on, Terry.
One of these days, I'd like to see your pretty face here in San Diego. We got to coordinate something because you.
I am. I'm coming this summer. I am going to come. If it's July, I think it's August. We all were going to the family reunion down there. So I don't know if that's still up, but I'm definitely coming home this summertime. So.
All right. Well, give us your heads up so we can plan a little something and get you, in one place. I ain't seen you in 30 years, whatever it is.
I know.
So let's make something happen.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much for everything and keep doing what you're doing. And I want to be involved. So please.
You will be in the loop and the rest will be up to you, baby.
Okay, my dear.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, honey. Bye.
So great. Later.
Bye.
All right.
Hornets, Lincoln. Oh my goodness. Now that was Terry Glenn Robinson. He's a Lincoln High School classmate, alumni 1981. You heard what Terry is doing. He's doing wonderful things in the San Diego community. It's not just for Lincoln High classmates and Hornets and alumni. It's for the whole community in San Diego. He's trying to bridge gaps, within the community. He's trying to bring generations together, trying to bring awareness to the community. So we just ask anyone watching to please get involved. Contact Terry Glenn here via social media, through Messenger, or he has a page, Lincoln Hornet page. I believe it's the Hornet House. But he's doing some amazing things, and I thank him so much. I didn't have to ask him many questions that I thought I was going to be asking him, because he told me everything that I wanted to hear. And so this is going to be a wonderful playback session. I'm going to post it on my page, and just thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. And I'm going to be having... What?
You're going to finish. You're going live again.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm going to have Trenton Samuel on. He's with Social Media Investors. I got to check and see if he's ready or if not, but I will be right back. Love you, Terry. Thank you so much. All right, baby. We're going to keep in touch here. And count me in, because you are doing amazing things. Love you. Thank you. No problem. I want to continue to have you so you could keep giving us updates on what you're doing for the community. All right. Big ups to Kenneth. Kenneth, love you, man. Thanks for watching. Watch the playback if you didn't catch Terry, okay? He's doing some amazing things in San Diego, California, and for the community there, okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.